There comes a moment in life when the world becomes loud, louder than your heart, louder than your truth, louder than the quiet whisper of your soul that knows exactly who you are. In those moments, you must return to the one who shaped you, who breathed worth into your existence long before anyone ever spoke a word about you. Your value was written by the one who never makes mistakes. You are not defined by people's opinions, by the love you did or didn't receive, by your past, or by the moments you fell apart. You are defined by the one who created you with intention, precision, and mercy. Believing in yourself doesn't mean relying solely on your strength. It means recognizing that the light within you comes from him, and that makes you capable of rising again and again. Your worth is not fragile. It's anchored in the one who doesn't change. So walk with humility, but also with quiet confidence. Stand firm, not because you are perfect, but because you are held. When life shakes you, remind yourself you were never meant to be anything less than whole. You are worthy, you are enough, and you are stronger than you think because your strength comes from him. Your worth is defined by your creator, not by people. This truth is both liberating and deeply healing. Yet many of us spend our lives chasing approval, validation, and recognition from those who were never meant to define us in the first place. People are limited. Their vision, their understanding, their hearts, their judgments. They see fragments of who you are, small pieces of a much greater story. They don't see your silent battles, your private prayers, your resilience after heartbreak, or the sincerity that sits quietly in your chest. They don't know the way you rise after falling, the way you keep trying even when exhausted, or the way you hold on to faith when everything around you feels uncertain. They see the outer layer, never the depth. How often do we hand our worth to them, letting their temporary opinions shape the permanent truths of our souls? Your creator, on the other hand, knows you entirely, your past, your wounds, your intentions, your strengths, and the hidden good inside you that even you fail to see. He knows the moments you stayed silent to avoid hurting someone, the times you forgave when you could have sought revenge, the tears you wiped away quietly at night, and the prayers you whispered with trembling hands. He knows your heart when it is broken and when it is pure. He knows every version of you, the one who is confident and the one who is lost, and from the beginning of your existence, he declared you worthy. When you understand that your worth is written by the one who created galaxies, oceans, and the human soul, you stop begging people to notice you. You stop shrinking yourself to fit into places you were never meant to belong. You stop fearing the judgments that come from imperfect hearts. You begin to hold your head a little higher, not with arrogance, but with quiet dignity. You start to protect your peace because you understand it is sacred. You become gentle with yourself because you finally realize you were created with intention, not by accident, not as an afterthought. People may try to define you based on who you used to be. They may label you according to your mistakes, your weaknesses, or your past version that no longer exists. But your creator knows who you are becoming. He sees your growth long before anyone else does. His mercy extends beyond your flaws, and his love is not conditional. When he looks at you, he sees potential, not failure, effort, not imperfection, sincerity, not shortcomings. And the moment you anchor your identity in him, the world's opinions lose their power. You stop measuring yourself by unrealistic expectations, by comparisons that drain your spirit, or by standards built on superficial illusions. You start to breathe again. You start to live with authenticity. You start to choose what aligns with your soul, not what impresses people. You stop chasing love that is inconsistent and start embracing the love that was constant all along. You begin to understand that the one who shaped your heart is the only one who has the right to define its worth. And perhaps the most beautiful transformation happens when you realize that your value doesn't rise when someone pries, nor does it fall when someone criticizes you. Your worth is stable, unchanging, rooted in something eternal. You become free from people's approval, free from the fear of rejection, free from the weight of trying to be enough for everyone. You become enough simply because he said you are. So whenever you feel unseen, unappreciated, or misunderstood, remember who crafted you. Remember who breathed life into you. Remember that no human opinion, no matter how loud, can rewrite what your Creator has already written, that you are valuable, purposeful, and worthy beyond measure. True confidence comes from recognizing the divine light placed within you. It is not the loud, flashy, arrogant confidence the world often celebrates. It is not built on appearances, achievements, or the shifting opinions of others. It is a quiet, steady, and deeply rooted strength that comes from knowing who placed you on this earth, who holds your heart, and who guides your steps. When you understand that there is a light inside you, a light that came from the one who created the sun and every star, you begin to walk differently. You begin to see yourself not through the lens of fear, insecurity, or comparison, but through the lens of divine purpose. This light is not something you earn. It is something you are given. It was placed within you before you were even aware of your own existence. It is the light that pushes you to choose kindness when the world expects cruelty. It is the light that urges you to rise again when you feel broken. It is the light that softens your heart when it becomes heavy with pain. It is the light that whispers if you can, even on the days you feel like you can't. And when you start to recognize that this light is not yours alone, that it is a gift from your Creator, your confidence becomes unshakable because it no longer depends on your circumstances or emotions. This divine light is what gives you resilience. It gives you clarity when life is confusing. It gives you hope when everything feels dark. And because this light, it can never be extinguished by people, rejection, or failure. You might feel dim at times. You might feel overwhelmed. You might feel like you are losing parts of your suryuf, but the light remains. It waits for you to return to it, to nurture it, to believe in it again. It waits for you to remember who you truly are beneath the noise of the world. True confidence grows when you realize you are not walking through life alone. You are supported, guided, and strengthened by the one who knows what is ahead of you. You don't have to pretend to be strong. You only need to trust the one who gives you strength. You don't have to be perfect. You only need to be sincere. You don't have to impress anyone. You only need to stay connected to the source of your light. When you rely on Him, you stop relying on temporary things for validation. You stop measuring your worth by things that fade. You stop doubting your ability to heal, to grow, to change, to thrive. Recognizing the divine light within you also means realizing that you are capable of goodness that goes beyond your limits. It means understanding that compassion, forgiveness, patience, and courage come easier when you draw them from the one who embodies them perfectly. It means seeing that you can still shine even when you feel broken because your light was never dependent on your perfection, only on His mercy. This kind of confidence is gentle, not forceful. It doesn't need to shout to be felt. It doesn't need to be seen by everyone to be real. It is the quiet assurance that you are supported, that you are guided, that you are capable, and that you are more than enough because the one who created your heart also filled it with purpose. You begin to speak kinder to yourself. You begin to treat yourself with more compassion. You begin to walk with a softness that comes from knowing your value is divinely written. And when life challenges you, when people misunderstand you, when plans break, when fears rise, this inner light becomes your anchor. It reminds you that your strength does not come from yourself alone. It reminds you that you are held even when you feel low. It reminds you that nothing can take from you what he has placed within you. You realize that as long as you stay connected to the source of your light, you will never truly be without direction, without strength, or without hope. So let yourself shine, not for the world, not for recognition, but because you understand where your light came from. Let your confidence be rooted in something eternal. Let it grow from faith, not fear. Let it remind you every single day you carry within you a divine light, and that alone makes you capable of rising into the person you were always meant to be. Past mistakes do not diminish your value or your potential. This truth is easy to say yet difficult to believe, especially when your heart carries the weight of regrets that press on your chest like stones. But the reality is simple. You are not the sum of your errors. You are the sum of your effort, your sincerity, your growth, and your intention to return to what is right. Mistakes are part of being human. They are woven into the fabric of every journey, and no one walks through life without stumbling, falling, or losing their way at times. What matters is not the fall, but what you do after it. You are not meant to be defined by the moments you were weak, confused, hurt, or lost. You are defined by the one who knew you would fall and still chose to create you with love and purpose. When you carry guilt for too long, it begins to distort your self-image. You start to see yourself through the lens of what went wrong rather than what can still go right. You begin to believe the lie that, because you made a mistake, you are a mistake. But these two things could not be more different. A mistake is an event, your worth is a constant. A mistake is temporary, your potential is limitless. A mistake is something you learn from, it is never something you become. The one who created you has already written forgiveness into your design, knowing that growth requires missteps, healing requires breaking, and wisdom requires lessons learned through imperfection. This life is not meant to be walked with the fear of getting dirty. It is meant to be lived with the courage to keep going even when you have scars, even when you've taken wrong turns, even when you've disappointed yourself or others. Every mistake you've made has taught you something invaluable about your heart, your triggers, your resilience, your boundaries, your needs, and your faith. If you reflect with sincerity, you will find that your mistakes softened some parts of you that needed softening, strengthened parts of you that needed strength, and revealed truths within you that you would never have discovered otherwise. You were never meant to be perfect. You were meant to be real. You were meant to evolve, to grow, to rise higher than the person you were yesterday. A mistake can become a doorway, a turning point, a profound awakening. Many people find their deepest connection to their Creator not in moments of perfection, but in moments of complete surrender, moments when they have fallen to their knees, realizing that they cannot carry their burdens alone. And in those moments, something beautiful happens. Mercy meets you where you are, even when you feel unworthy of standing again. Your potential has not been erased by your past. It is still waiting for you, patient, undamaged, untouched by the things you regret. You are allowed to rebuild. You are allowed to outgrow the version of yourself who made those choices. You are allowed to rise into the person you now know you want to be. Healing is not denial, it is transformation. And transformation is one of the greatest gifts you have been given. Every day is a new opportunity to rewrite your story, to choose differently, to breathe differently, to walk differently. Even if others refuse to forget your past, your Creator never chains you to. People may cling to old versions of you because they are unaware of your inner journey, unaware of your efforts, unaware of the battles you fought quietly within your own heart. But their perception has no power over your destiny. You are not bound by their memory of your mistakes. You are guided by the one who sees your future, your intentions, and your striving. Whenever you feel overwhelmed by regret, remind yourself that your story is not over. Growth often comes wrapped in pain. Clarity often comes wrapped in confusion, and strength often comes wrapped in past weakness. What matters is the path you choose now. Your worth remains intact. Your potential remains powerful. You are still capable of becoming someone extraordinary, not because you have never fallen, but because you continue to work. Your past mistakes are chapters, not conclusions. They are lessons, not identity. They are stepping stones, not stones. And the one who created you has written far more beauty in your future than pain in your past. Past mistakes do not diminish your value or your potential. Every human being carries moments they wish they could erase, decisions they wish they could undo, and chapters they wish they could rewrite. But your mistakes are not the definition of your identity, nor are they a measure of your worth. They are simply pages in a much larger story, a story that is still unfolding, one you are still capable of shaping with wisdom, compassion, and renewed intention. The world may try to hold you hostage to your past, reminding you constantly of where you fell, where you slipped, where you broke. But the world does not write your worth. Your Creator does. And He is far more merciful than the harsh memories you hold against yourself. Mistakes are part of the human experience. They are not signs of failure. They are signs of being alive, learning, growing. They force you to confront the parts of yourself that need healing, the weaknesses that need strengthening, the shadows that need light. And often, it is through those very mistakes that you discover humility, compassion, softness, and depth. You learn to see others with gentler eyes because you know what it feels like to fall. You learn to treat yourself with understanding because you realize that perfection was never the goal. Sincerity. Your Creator never expected you to be flawless. He expected you to return, to reflect, to rise. He expected you to learn from what hurt you and transform from what tried to define you. The real tragedy is not that you made a mistake. It is believing that the mistake has the power to decide your future. It doesn't. You are allowed to grow beyond who you are allowed to outgrow the version of yourself that didn't know better. You are allowed to become someone wiser, stronger, and more grounded. Regret can either imprison you or guide you. The choice is yours. When you decide to let it guide you, it becomes a teacher instead of a tormentor. It becomes a reminder of where you no longer want to return. It becomes a push toward becoming your higher self. And the beautiful part is that even when people continue to judge you for your past, your Creator knows your heart in its present moment. He sees the struggle, the intention, the effort. He values your sincerity more than your perfection. Your potential is untouched by your past. It is renewed every morning you wake up. It grows each time you choose hope over despair, growth over shame, healing over hiding. You are not the same person you were when you made those mistakes. Every day you carry new wisdom, new clarity, and do not let old moments define a person you no longer are. Your story is far from over, and the very parts you are ashamed of may one day become the reasons you are stronger, kinder, and more deeply connected to your Creator. Your mistakes do not diminish your worth. They deepen your humanity, expand your compassion, and shape your path toward becoming the person you were always meant to be. Believing in yourself means trusting that you are held, guided, and capable. It means understanding that you were never meant to walk through this life alone, relying solely on your limited strength or uncertain plans. There is a presence that carries you through what feels impossible, a mercy that surrounds you even when you feel unworthy, and a guidance that whispers the right direction long before you see the path clearly. When you believe in yourself through this lens, it is not arrogance. It is faith. It is knowing that you are supported by the one who knows your heart more deeply than you do. There will be days when you feel lost, confused, unsure of your own decisions. Days when doubt overwhelms you, when your confidence feels fragile, when the future feels like a fog you cannot see through. In those moments, believing in yourself means trusting that even when you cannot see the way, He can. Even when you feel weak, He strengthens you. Even when you feel alone, He is holding you. You are guided not because you always make perfect choices, but because your sincerity connects you to the one who never abandons you. Being held means you are never falling without purpose. Every hardship you face has a meaning, even if you cannot understand it yet. Every delay, every heartbreak, every closed door, every unexpected turn, all of it is part of a plan greater than your imagination. When you believe in that, you allow yourself to breathe again. You allow yourself to trust that life is unfolding exactly as it needs to. You begin to find peace in places you once felt fear. Being guided means you are not wandering aimlessly through your life. There are gentle signs, subtle nudges, unexpected blessings, and moments of clarity that appear at exactly the right time. Guidance does not always come with loud certainty. Sometimes it arrives as a small calm feeling in your heart, a quiet pull towards something better, a softness that tells you what is right. Trusting this guidance is part of believing in yourself, because your heart was created to recognize truth. Being capable means understanding that you hold far more strength within you than you realize. You have survived nights that felt endless, heartbreaks that felt unbearable, challenges that felt insurmountable. You have risen again and again, even when you didn't think you could. That is capability. That is resilience. That is the quiet power placed within you. You may doubt yourself, but your Creator never does. He knows exactly what you can handle, exactly what you can grow into, exactly what you can overcome. Believing in yourself is ultimately believing that He is with you. And when the one who controls the universe is, nothing can truly break you. You will bend, you will struggle, you will ache, but you will rise. Because you are held, you are guided, you are capable, and you are never alone. Your identity remains unshakable when rooted in faith, not external validation. The world will always have something to say about who you are. Too much, too little, too quiet, too emotional, too soft, too defrocked. People will measure you by standards that shift with every season, every trend, every fragile opinion. If you allow their voices to define you, you will spend your life exhausted, constantly trying to adjust yourself just to be enough for others who may never truly see you. But when your identity is anchored in faith, in the one who created you, knows you, and sustains you, everything you stop chasing approval because you realize you already belong. You stop fearing judgment because you understand that creation cannot overrule the Creator. You stop molding yourself to fit into places that were never meant for your soul. Instead, you stand firm in the truth of who you are before Him. Faith gives you a foundation that cannot be shaken by human perception. It reminds you that your worth was written long before the world had a chance to comment on it. It reminds you that your heart, your intentions, your struggles, and your growth are all seen by the one who knows every layer of you, not just the version people assume from the outside. When you understand that your identity is rooted in something eternal, the temporary opinions of others lose their grip on your spirit. You begin to breathe freely, to walk confidently, and to live with authenticity. You realize you don't need the world's applause to feel whole. You don't need to be admired to feel valuable. You don't need to fit in to feel accepted. You are already defined by the one who shaped you with purpose. External validation is addictive because it feels good in the moment. The praise, the attention, the approval. But it fades as quickly as it comes. One day people celebrate you, the next day they misunderstand you. One moment they support you, the next they turn away. If you tie your identity to this fragile cycle, Your sense of self will constantly rise and fall, leaving you unstable and unsure of who you truly are. But faith does the opposite. Faith stabilizes you. Faith grounds you. Faith reminds you that your value doesn't crumble simply because someone fails to appreciate it. It doesn't rise or fall based on how many people notice your efforts. It doesn't depend on recognition, applause, or applause. Faith teaches you to be sincere even when unseen, to be kind even when unthanked, to be strong even when unacknowledged. Rooting your identity in faith also protects your heart from comparison. You stop looking at others as a measure of your value because you understand that every soul has its own journey, its own test, its own timing. Instead of competing, you begin to trust. Instead of envying, you begin to appreciate. Instead of feeling less, you begin to see yourself as intentionally crafted by the one who makes no mistakes. You become content, not because life is perfect, but because you are anchored to something deeper than circumstance. And the most profound part is this: when you root your identity in faith, you become unshakable not because life gets easier, but because your heart becomes stronger. You can face rejection without falling apart because you know it cannot take away what God has written for you. You can face criticism without breaking because you know your sincerity is seen by the one who matters most. You can face uncertainty without losing yourself because you trust that you are guided, protected, and supported. Your identity becomes a sanctuary, a place of clarity, dignity, and peace, guarded by faith rather than fractured by people. You begin to walk with a quiet confidence that does not need to be proven. You begin to live a life that is true to your soul rather than shaped by people's expectations. And no matter what storms rise around you, your inner self remains steady because it is rooted in the one who never wavers. So hold on to this truth. Your identity is not a mirror of people's opinions. It is a reflection of the one who created you. And as long as your roots are in him, you will remain unshakable, no matter who tries to define you. You are created with purpose. Rise with humility, strength, and hope. This truth is not something you discover outside yourself. It is something already written into your being. Before anyone had expectations of you, before the world taught you fear, before life carved its lessons into your heart, you were created with intention. You were not made randomly, not placed on this earth without meaning. Every soul is crafted with a divine purpose, even when that purpose feels hidden beneath pain, confusion, or uncertainty. And when you finally begin to understand that your existence itself is a sign of divine will, you stop questioning whether you matter. You begin to understand that you were chosen. Purpose isn't always loud or dramatic. Sometimes it's soft, quiet, and gentle. It lives in small acts of kindness, in the patience you offer, in the prayers you whisper, in the strength you show simply by surviving. Your purpose may not look like someone else's, and it isn't supposed. The world doesn't need another version of a person who already exists. It needs the sincerity, compassion, wisdom, and resilience that only as you can bring. You are a unique creation, carrying gifts that unfold slowly with time. There are parts of your heart that are meant to heal others. There are experiences you have endured that will eventually become someone else's hope. Nothing you have gone through is wasted when your life is in the hands of the one who writes with perfection. To rise with humility means remembering that your strength comes from him. You don't have to carry the weight of the world alone. You don't have to pretend to be flawless. Humility is not weakness. It is the quiet acceptance that you are held by something greater than your fears. It is knowing that you don't rise by stepping on others, but by walking gently and sincerely. It is choosing softness even in a world that rewards hardness. Humility keeps your heart open, grounded, and sincere, allowing your purpose to shine without arrogance or ego. Strength, too, is part of your design. Not the kind of strength that demands attention, but the kind that is forged in silence. The strength that forms in nights spent crying in sujud, in moments where you chose patience over anger, in days you kept going even when life felt heavy. This is the strength that makes you unbreakable in ways the world cannot measure. Even your wounds become sources of power when they lead you back to Him. Strength is not about never falling. It is about rising every time you do, with more wisdom, more compassion, and a deeper understanding of your soul. And hope, the light that keeps you alive inside, is one of the greatest gifts you've been given. Hope is the reminder that no story ends before its time, that no pain lasts forever, that no darkness can suffocate a heart that trusts its creator. Hope is what whispers to you on the days you feel lost at all. This is not the end. There is more written for you with hope. You can step into the unknown without fear, because you know that the one who guided you this far will continue to guide you forward. Hope transforms your steps, your mindset, your entire journey. When you combine humility, strength, and hope, you become unstoppable, not because life becomes easy, but because your heart becomes anchored. You stop living for temporary approval. You stop searching for your worth in places that cannot give it. You stop letting fear dictate your decisions. Instead, you rise, gracefully with faith leading you. You rise in the ways that matter through character, through resilience, through trust in your Creator. You were created with purpose. Even when you cannot see it, it is shaping you. Even when you feel lost, it is guiding you. Even when you feel broken, it is rebuilding you. Rise into that purpose with humility, strength, and hope. Rise knowing that you are never alone. Rise knowing that every breath you take is a sign that your journey is still unfolding. Rise with the certainty that you were created intentionally, and that within you lies the potential to become everything you were meant to be.